In just a few hours, former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected in federal court in New York. The couple will be arraigned on drug trafficking and narco-terrorism related charges. The U.S. captured them over the weekend in a surprise attack on their compound in Venezuela. Today, the chairs and ranking members of the Senate and House Foreign Relations and Armed Services Committees will be briefed about the operation.
And new details on that operation are coming out as well, including the death toll. The New York Times now reports 80 people were killed in the attack, with Cuban state media claiming this morning that 32 Cubans who were providing security to Maduro are also among the dead. While U.S. forces suffered some injuries, according to the president, no casualties were reported. The U.S. launched a major, wide-scale air, land, and sea military attack involving at least 150 aircraft late Friday into Saturday. A secret CIA team spent months tracking Maduro's every move and habits, and U.S. forces spent time rehearsing the operation. While returning to D.C. last night, President Trump spoke about the U.S. operation and the case against Maduro.
The case it's infallible. People are so happy with what we've done. You know, you go down to Miami, you go down to a lot of places, and they're all dancing in the streets of this country. Now, he was a rough man, killed millions of people.
The United Nations Security Council is set to hold an emergency meeting today to discuss the legality of the operation. It's met twice before, in October and December, to discuss the escalating tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela.
With Maduro removed from power, President Trump says the U.S. will, quote, run the country until proper elections are held. The president has not detailed how that will happen without American forces on the ground. Maduro's vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, was sworn in as president, and the National Assembly remains in place. It's set to meet this morning. President Trump said Rodriguez could face a fate worse than Maduro if she does not follow U.S. demands. Rodriguez initially condemned the raid, but she then posted to Instagram overnight asking Trump to collaborate and that she's looking for respectful relations. The president says American oil companies will go in to rebuild infrastructure and take over Venezuela's rich oil supply. Democrats accuse the administration of prioritizing oil over stability and keeping lawmakers in the dark.
This was the military action, and pursuant to the Constitution, only Congress has the power to declare war, to authorize acts that take place in this regard.
This was not an action that required congressional approval. In fact, it couldn't require congressional approval because this was not an invasion.
Secretary Rubio argued the U.S. is at war with drug trafficking operations, not Venezuela.
The raid in Venezuela caused major flight delays and thousands of travelers have been stranded. U.S. officials say an aircraft transporting Maduro made a stop in Puerto Rico before landing in New York Saturday, prompting temporary airspace closures in the Caribbean. Those restrictions triggered a major domino effect. Miami International Airport says 107 flights were canceled, backing up baggage claim.
I have never seen anything like it. It was like a city of suitcases. People, millions of people around here. Some people were getting angry and anxious. People standing on the carousels. Nobody knew anything. There was no American airline.
Major U.S. airlines, including American, United, and Delta, added flights in the region and in some cases brought in larger planes to help get the system caught up.
Some Venezuelan Americans in the U.S. have been praising the president's actions. Crowds gathered in South Florida to celebrate Maduro's capture. In Miami-Dade County, dozens of people were seen waving flags, chanting, and singing the Venezuelan national anthem. But that isn't the sentiment felt everywhere. Protests were held across the country Saturday, including one in Seattle. We spotted protesters holding signs saying "No war" and "Stop the bombings."